Good afternoon. It's me, your favorite papa. Tell you a little story here. The wife had been going back and forth with this lady on Craigslist about some albums, because my wife got a new record player for Christmas. So she was going back and forth with this lady about some albums that they had for sale. So the lady came down to $20 for like 105 albums. And so she texted the wife this morning, and the wife texted me and said, well, the lady, about the 20 bucks, long story short. So anyway, I went and got 20 bucks out of the bank, and I went to pick up these albums for the wife. So when I got there, I didn't know what to expect. There was an elderly couple that was in their truck. So I get out of my truck, and the man and his wife gets out of their vehicle. And I said, he said, are you the record man? I says, no, I'm here to pick up some records. I said, you must be the one selling them. So I get the records, I put them in the back of my truck, give the man his 20 bucks. And there was an Elvis album on top. And I took, the liberty to mention that my wife was a big Elvis fan. I said, yeah, my wife's an Elvis fan. So the guy says, well, let me tell you a story about Elvis. I said, tell me a story about Elvis. So he goes to tell me that this guy's 79 years old now. So he goes to tell me that when he was 12 years old, it was him and his mom and his sister. They went to Graceland. They lived here in Jacksonville, actually. Went to Graceland to visit. I wanted to see Elvis. He told me that when they got there that Graceland looks a lot different now than it did back way then when he was 12 years old. So anyway, he said you got the two gates there, where it says the big G's, whatever, says Graceland. And across the street from it, there wasn't nothing but trees. Nothing but trees across the street from it. And he said there was about 500 girls always standing out there on the streets, waiting for Elvis to come through the gate so they could bombard his vehicle or try to get a glance at him or touch him. So anyway, the gentleman says, he was 12. So next to the gates, they had a brick wall. And at the end of the brick wall, there was a path. So he said to him, he took his mama by the hand and his sister. They went down to the end of the brick wall, went down this dirt path in between the bushes. And he said there was a few hills. Back then there was hills, but they probably upgraded by now. So he goes over the hill, and he come to the garage. Or, back then it was probably more like a barn, but, come to the garage. And as he done that, first of all, he said that the guards at the gate, they went up there and they told him, hey, we came from Jacksonville. I'm here to see Elvis. And he says, well, what makes you special that you can see Elvis? He says, nobody gets in. So anyway, so back to the story about the path. So they went down to the brick wall, went down the path, and he was telling me that they went over a few little hills and they could see Graceland in the distance there, because it's off the path there from the street. So anyway, his mom and him and his sister got closer to the house, and he said Vernon Presley, Elvis's dad, came out and asked him, hey, what are y'all doing here? How'd y'all get by the guards? So they go to tell him what happened, how they got in there down the path. And so he said that Elvis's dad had fell to his knees and started laughing, rolling over, just laughing. And about that time, Elvis's mom came out and started talking to this little boy's mom. That was the guy telling me stories. Started talking to his mom, and he said they talked like they knew each other for years. So at that time, he was telling me that Elvis had golf carts had come driving up, like they had been in a, out in the fields, whatever, playing. So the golf carts come up and up. There was 2 golf carts full of guys. One of them was Elvis. He said Elvis got out, walked over there and asked him, how did you get in here? So he goes to tell him And he says, well, where'd you face it? We came all the way from Jacksonville just to meet you. So anyway, he said that Elvis treated him like a brother, invited him in the house, gave him breakfast, sat there and ate breakfast with Elvis that morning. And, you know, after all that, long story kind of short, it's a little lengthy, but I apologize. I mean, I stood there and listened to this old gentleman for like 30 minutes. So anyway, he went back to the gates. So about that time, Elvis comes driving out, and the man said, oh, I'm sorry, I apologize, one more thing. He says, what brought you up here? Why did you want to come to Graceland? He said, well, Mr. Presley, I know that you just bought your mama that big old fancy pink Cadillac. He said, I want a picture with that cat standing in front of that Cadillac. He said Elvis went into the garage, opened the door, pulled the Cadillac out. The boy stood there and took a picture. And the guy's telling me, actually, he showed me the picture on his wife's phone of the newspaper with him standing there with his arms folded in front of that pink Cadillac. And anyway, so they went back to the gates, and Elvis come driving out, or supposedly supposed to come driving out, and Elvis stopped and asked, where's the people that's here from Jacksonville? The little boy said the guy said he raised his hands, a little 12-year-old boy. He says, come here. He said Elvis told him, hey, from now on we're friends. You can come and visit me anytime you want. You'll be welcome here. So I don't, you don't know to say if it's true or not, but I seen the picture of him standing there in the newspaper with his arms folded in front of Elvis's mama's pink Cadillac. So I know it's a little lengthy story, but like I said, I stood there and, talked to the guy, and he went to tell me about Elvis's first record on Sun label. Then went to RCA Victor. I mean, the guy knew a lot about Elvis. And, but he was a nice old gentleman. I didn't want to have the heart to tell the guy, that I had to go or anything. It was just nice standing there listening to the guy. But anyway, I just figured I'd share that with you guys, and hopefully it maybe brightens your day a little bit and give you some idea about Elvis Presley. He probably wasn't all bad or all good, but this guy just seemed to think, that Elvis was a good guy. I think Elvis was a good guy. I mean, to me, he probably just had too many bodyguards or guards around. I know he was famous and everything, but anyway, I appreciate you listening to me. How about press that subscribe button, and I'll get back with you. Bye-bye.